This war has been going on since February of 2022 and shows no signs of ending anytime soon. The Russian army dramatically underperformed, clearly wasn't prepared for the level of resistance it was going to receive. There were clearly some command and political issues within the Russian army that were exposed by this. And I think the Ukrainians fought back much more ably than most people expected. When Russia first invaded Ukraine in 2014, a lot of the Ukrainian resistance just kind of collapsed. And it's been in a kind of low-grade state of conflict between 2014 and this year. And I think in that time, the Ukrainians acquired a lot of combat experience, acquired a lot of assistance, both in terms of training and weaponry from the West. And they were preparing for this. That was something a lot of analysts missed in these predictions of a sort of quick Russian victory early on. Russia's mobilization may actually make this war last longer. Clearly Ukraine has won a number of dramatic victories. It has retaken quite a bit of the territory it lost early in the year. These newly mobilized troops, even if they don't have the best training, there are just simply a lot of them. They'll be able to sort of shore up Russian defenses. I think as we get closer to Russian territory, the sort of resistance will get stiffer. While Ukraine has clearly had the upper hand over the last few months, I don't think people should be under any illusions that that means that this war will end soon, barring some kind of dramatic, complete military collapse or a sort of political change back in Moscow. I think right now Zelensky is under pressure from his backers in the US to at least put out the message that he's open to negotiations. And I think a lot of that is less about actually making concessions right now than sort of Ukraine maintaining the moral high ground and demonstrating that, they're open to peace talks. But honestly, the positions seem pretty irreconcilable now. It's hard to see any end state that would satisfy either side right now. Early on in the war, people were calling for Ukraine to negotiate because they thought Ukraine would lose, that it was better to take a bad deal, to secede, to give up some territory rather than lose everything, completely lose Ukraine's independence. Right now, what you hear from a lot of advocates of negotiations in the West is they're almost nervous that Ukraine will win and that Vladimir Putin, fearing a complete military defeat that could lead to the end of his rule in Moscow, will take some really irresponsible step, such as using nuclear weapons. Right now, I don't really see a path out of it. I mean, there are clearly some negotiations going on that we're not hearing it about. There are leaders, such as the president of Turkey, who's still talking to both sides. Neither side has exhausted its resources or its manpower. Neither side is anywhere near what they consider an acceptable settlement. And unfortunately, that just means that there's going to be a lot more fighting to come. I'm not ruling out a Russian collapse. I'm not ruling out the use of nuclear weapons. I'm not ruling out some major change of tide on the battlefield. But, the safe money right now on how this war is going to proceed is just that it's going to keep going.